What's up, guys? What's up, guys? What's up? Got some BC coilovers for the Miata, and so I'm going to try to put those on it. Ooh la la. Hardware. Looks like from this guy. There they are. Very pretty. How exciting. That BC stuff's so friggin' cool looking. Gotta get the Miata up into the air, get the old coilovers off, and then put these new ones on. Lifted by the diff, supported pretty well, I feel like. So I'm okay with taking the wheel off and getting these off there. I'll do that now. What? Why? Sway bar end links are pretty trashed. I should probably get a set of those. Brakes look all right. Rubber line. This looks pretty straightforward. That comes off. I'll pop the trunk. Get a feel for what has to happen up here. I'm assuming these are 10 mil. Apparently there are 4 10mm bolts that hold this thing in. And this one comes out, I assume. Very dusty back here. But anyway, there's the top of the top hat. You already know what it is. Jeez. I kind of like to put the shop vac in here. It's just so dusty. I think these are 14mm. I'm gonna check that by putting a 14mm socket on one and turning it. There we go. There's a good angle. Just can't quite get the torque I want on that. So, the ratcheting would be really cool. I would expect that to have droop though. Doesn't seem to. Oh, come on out of there, you bolt. Let's compare. I guess that's gonna be this one. Whoa, taller by a lot. What gives? Taller than OEM. And I guess I have to thread these all the way down. I'm surprised about that. I think they're supposed to be super low. Thank you. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. Ooh, cool stickers. Spare tire relocation instructions. Why would I need to do that? You may now install your rear suspension with extended top hats. Do I have extended top hats? Oh, these are the fucking fronts. Okay, all right, that makes more sense. Okay, yeah, that's significantly lower. That makes a lot more sense. I was getting fucking nervous there for a second. Oh yeah, let's pop this side off while I'm ready. Somebody explain the one long lug nut to me. Is that Miata specific or this car? This one, this one, this one probably. So anyway, I started blasting. I guess there's better tools for that. I'm sure that's not how you're supposed to do it. Now I know those instructions want me to take this tire out. I almost think I can get the air gun on that. Oh, you bastard. All right. Okay. Seems pretty good. I'll add these to my used stock suspension collection. Ah, man, I wonder how many total coilovers I put on. So it's time to put these coilovers on the Miata. These two at least are going to go to the back. They look like they are already set in terms of height to be even. I'm just gonna go with what they gave me. And if I need to change it later, I will. But we'll see what that looks like. And time to slap those bad boys on there. I think I will clean up the spots where they go first with Speed Shine. Just gonna wipe up the mating surface and make sure that it's not, you know, grimy. Yeah, you know, you don't want that sitting between the coilover and the chassis forever. This is cool. This thing reminds me a lot of Honda. This is like a double wishbone setup, like the front of a Honda, and I think that's what this has got in the front as well. It's really superior to McPherson's, if you ask me. Something like that, and something to just hold it so I can get up there and put a bolt in. Just any kind of thing to jam. There we go. Just getting the nut on the top of the BC coil if I can get to it. I picked the hard one first. Yeah, just enough to hang on to it. This one I believe I can torque right on down. The torque spec is tight. That one is torqued. That one is as well. Just so there's not grime sitting between the new coilovers and the mounting surface forever. I just need something to hold it in place. Whatever. Get it pretty lined up. Go in there with that bolt. It's tight. All right, those are tight. I think I can put this interior back together now. There's no need to get back in here, right? I guess in case I want to get to the dampeners, but that's okay. I'll leave them factory. And get them all started and then tighten them down. Nothing crazy, just tight. I believe that's it. That goes there. This comes around. I've got 3 of these. But it doesn't take long for people to lose all this shit. Why would you bother putting this back in here? Okay, that's all that. Must be something missing on this side or something like that. I'm not really making a ton of sense out of this. That looks like it won't let me run the spare, I bet. Yeah, how about that? No spare with the BCs. Huh. So we're gonna have a little collection of parts that don't work in this. All right, I think that's that. Oh, the sway bars. Okay, that's tight. All right, so got the suspension preloaded. Tightening down on these sway bar end links. Nice and tight. Time to put the wheels back on. And then, these things are 4x100, right? Maybe we'll put the BBS RS on it. Are these tight? Yeah. Hey, there's one. All right, so this will go in the back. I have to roll that. Be a little surprised if that one fits behind there. Yeah. So I got lug nuts. I think these are the right size, the thread and pitch and everything, so let's see it. No, damn. So are they M12 by 150 or something? Yeah, 1.5, crap. Well, that was worth a shot. Maybe I'll just run them with 3 for a second just to get an idea of what it would look like in theory. Oh, that's not gonna work at all. These lug nuts aren't gonna work. All right, so I got to get lug nuts in order to make this happen. It will look pretty. I'll almost definitely have to roll that fender. But let me at least do one for the gram and then take them off and put the regular wheels back on until I get lug nuts and decide whether or not to trash this car by rolling those fenders. That's a tough call. In a lot of ways, this thing is original, and so that'd be nice to keep it that way. On the other hand, it's just a bullshit Miata, so who cares? These things get annihilated anyway, and it's not like it's in that good a condition, and it's got a lot of miles, so do what you want. I can see both sides. Anyway. 15x7 looks enormous. I don't know if that's gonna work. I mean, it just seems huge. I do have some pretty significant tires for the size, but even still, you do want a little bit of meat on the tire if you have one of these things, I feel like. I'll definitely have to roll the fenders to make these fit, and they just don't really seem like they have enough width for how aggressive they are in terms of fitment. Like, you could easily have this wheel and just have it be sunk a little more and not have to roll the fenders. I don't know, I'm not sold on this. I'm gonna put the stockers back on for now. But yeah, kind of surprised I'm not really feeling that. So, well. All right, is it lower? A little bit. All right, onto the front. Let's see if we can get this started. Ah. Oh, shit, man. Coilovers, where do they go? Here they are. And this is a fuse for something interesting, being pulled off of something. New clutch master, that's pretty. Inline fuse. Saw some brackets for fog lights, that's probably what that is. And here's another fusible relay, or another relay. Is that factory? I doubt it. I'm gonna speculate the answer to that is no. Wiring, yeah, up to my fog light bullshit, and a ground. And then pulling power. Oh boy, yeah, to the fog lights. All right, I might delete all that shit because it looks like ass and they're not even there. This is melted as well. I don't see a lot of reason to keep this. Okay, let's see what else we got going on. Somebody stuck a K&N filter on it. That's cool. Are these different horns? Wow, look at that install. Gotta love it. I mean, I don't know. What do you do? It's easy to criticize. Cable's got to go somewhere. All right, anyway, let's get these wheels off and put some coilovers on it. Let's get this fucking thing off of here. Bolt comes out of the bottom here, and I should just start right off the bat. Penetrating blaster. So this bolt, this long bolt, comes out all the way or something. And I'm gonna want PB on this. Right there. Sway bar end links. Also looking sad. I think that should be it. This might have to come off. I think that does have to come off in order to get the bolts to go towards the front. Probably a bunch of 10 millimeters. And with this off, maybe it is a good time to take that fog light bracket bullshit off. Same deal, we'll start with getting anything that looks like it's gonna have to turn prepared for the idea of turning. Something here as well, right? This bolt. What do you see? Looks like a tiny Japanese engine. The wiring is all in place for these fog lights, but the fog lights themselves are gone. And I can't imagine this works after it's been painted. All right, getting distracted. Somebody said I have to loosen this sway bar bolt, so I'll get that started with getting acquainted with my favorite product. Now I take out this bolt and this goes that way. I think they said 21 millimeter. Ay, ay, ay. That's tight. This seems like enough to get a regular ratchet on it. I'll try to remember this order. Big ass nut. What an idiot. Big ass nut. Oh boy. Anyway, it goes like that. This has to come off of the bottom and it is smaller by a bunch. Is it 14 millimeters again? I think so. No, but these are. I can get to them this way though. So I'll do that. And yeah, pull that air gun around. Fuck the bullshit. The other was 17. I think I might need a 17 millimeter wrench, which is this one. This end link is coming off. It's gonna work. That's hitting that, so that has to come back out a little bit, and it's 12 millimeters. Okay. Oh, that's stuck in there because it's been melted together. Yeah, this is not safe. I'd be curious if anybody knows if this is OEM or not. I'm gonna have to remake the seam here because this is all melted together. It's obviously not ideal regardless of what I do. My attention span here is coming down. All right, fuck it then. That can stay. This cannot. Right through the rain tray? Yep. Great. Great installation by whoever. Sorry to ruin your hard work. That shit's coming out. Yeah. All right, I can't imagine that was OEM. It looks a lot like a kit to me, but if I fucked up, then let me know and I'll, find a replacement or whatever. And that's gonna go into the trash. And then what was I doing? Oh yeah, taking some coilovers off. Getting distracted. Distracted as hell. 14, yep, this is way overkill, but I guarantee they'll come off. Anything I'm missing? Comes right out, no big deal. Let's get the side-by-side comparison on these bad boys. Interesting. I think the back had a larger drop. And again, I'm just gonna leave them factory and slap them in there, and that's how I'm going to start. Oh, I was gonna clean these up as usual. So hit it with the one little spatula. Nothing crazy, we just don't really want all that debris right between where our brand new pretty coilovers are gonna sit in the metal. This is a fun chassis a little bit, you know? And I'm just realizing that this has a bracket for something, usually brakes. And so that means that they're directional. What's it say? Just says front. You know I don't do that. I may end up taking this bracket off. I don't really see a purpose for it. So we're gonna repurpose this. Probably want the hardware off of this. Well, look at that, BC. That's some British Columbia ass coilovers. What does BC stand for? GC was ground control, I remember those. I think a lot of people put those on here too. Ground control and Coney yellows. And torque specs, let's go tight. Nice and tight. So I'll move it to the other side, do the same. All right, I already pulled this bolt out. That's loose, control arm's loose. The nut and bolt are loose out of the bottom of the coil. And I pulled the sway bar bolts out as well. And that has the tension released. And it looks like enough to get this in on this side. So I'm gonna do that now while I can. And then I think I just have to take those nuts out of the top, and that should drop the coil on that other side. Okay, so that should be that one. I'll come back and tighten that, and this as well, and this one. All the stuff is still loose on this side, I gotta remember that. Ready to drop the coil on this side. So let's get into that. There you have it. It's out. There's a new pretty one. Get that started on there. I'm gonna have to have the jack on this side in order to hold this whole assembly up. What I saw online was that the suspension should have tension on it. So basically, like, the weight of the car should be on the suspension when you tighten all the bolts. I don't know how true that is, but we'll try to follow their instruction, maybe if I can. It doesn't seem like that hard of a thing to do, is just have load on the suspension when you tighten the bolts. All right, that suspension lifted on both sides. Probably start with the 14mm first on the sway bar. I'll do that on the other side as well. Now the 17mm that's holding the shock. Okay. The same thing over here. All right, that's tight. So the only thing I have to tighten now is this 21mm, and it has to go to something insane, like 100 and something foot-pounds. Just gonna tighten as much as I can with the ratchet, and then I'll put the breaker bar on and see if I can get a little more. In summary, tight as fuck. I'll do it again. I think once I get done with this, I should be ready to put the wheels back on and see what it looks like. That is getting tight. All right, I'm calling that tight. So that's that. Now I'm ready to put wheels on, I think. All right, that should be good enough to get the thing on the ground. Hey, look at it. I'm ready to see it. I'm gonna put the skid plate back on. That seems like the kind of thing to do once this has been proven. All right, come on down. It's not slammed, but it's perfectly respectable, I guess. Especially for your mom. I'm not gonna go ape shit because the alignment is off. I mean, you can tell that the wheels are pointed like that. So I'll just be eating up the tires, but I do wanna see if I can tell the difference, and I can already tell that it's flatter, way less body roll, and more confident. You know, you can just tell it's much better. I noticed that the ride height is a little higher in the front, and I'm suspecting that's because they need to settle, and the weight of the engine it'll compensate, and it'll be about even by the time the suspension has actually settled. I think I'm gonna leave it at that height. It's too tall for me, but it is fun to drive it. It's a little bit lower, at least. I think it'd be hard for the untrained eye to look at it and tell if it was different or not. And ultimately, this thing's not for me. It's gonna be for my mom to drive, and her passenger is going to be her mother, my grandmother. So how slammed does it really need to be? And the answer is not very. I may come back and do some of the energy suspension stuff. I haven't quite decided. Yeah, I mean, it just feels planted. It feels great. So if I do replace the energy stuff, I'll wait to do the alignment until I've got all those bushings on. But I'm pretty content. I think this is great. I mean, I'm happy. Yeah, Mom will have a good time in it. So if you hung around, thanks for doing that. I appreciate you watching. We'll see what we work on next. Okay? Thanks. See ya.